the transition there was kind of scary, I guess, going from middle school and going into high school. A whole lot bigger place with a lot more older people, a lot of influences. And, you know, right from the start, it was pretty easy to get peer pressured since you're all the new fresh meat in the school kind of a thing. And school was more a place to go and be with your friends, you know. You didn't want to miss school because you wanted to see your friends that day and whatnot. And the learning material wasn't so important to you. You know, it wasn't such an important thing. It was to laugh and joke with your friends and to see your friends every day kind of a thing in the beginning. And, you know, you learn to skip class for the first time in high school. And you get peer pressured into doing things that may not be so good for you. And that's what the beginning of high school was like for me. Yeah, I cared more about my friends and the social life rather than school itself. But I went to the school for that. Like, I went to the school to go socialize, to go be with my friends and skip class and laugh and whatnot, make fun of the teacher or something. I don't know. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Constantly, like, being with your friends and laughing, and in the classroom environment especially, you don't hear what the teacher's saying, you don't care what the teacher's saying, and it was just fun, I guess. You know, it was fun for me, it was fun for us. We all giggled and passed notes and threw pencils and, like, not pay attention to what the teacher's saying and whatnot. And it was like, we had school and we did our schoolwork and whatnot, but you having your friends around was so distracting. You know, you don't focus on the material, you don't focus on what the teacher's saying. You barely get the information, and yet you still whisper over to your friend, what is he talking about, you know, kind of a thing. And that's what it was like. That's what the classroom environment was like. It was a lot of distraction and whatnot, and the teacher struggling to keep us quiet. And our attitudes, just coming into high school, learning from the older ones, was I don't care kind of a thing. That's what it was like. I don't want to say the teachers should be more strict or like precise on seating, because sitting next to your friends is a great thing. I'd suggest that they'd be more strict, but I don't want to say that because I know how students who find their teachers that way don't want to go to the class because the teacher's that way. They have to find kind of a middle ground and actually connect with the student, like not just knowing them by name or the reasons they go to detention for, like, but know them, know a bit of their background, I guess, or their personality, just in a normal way, not so educational and whatnot, just to connect and have that kind of respect for each other, and to kind of explain, you know, this is my job, this is what I have to do, and this is what you have to do in order for this to work, kind of a thing. Yeah. The best things about my high school experience, there was a lot of activities, cultural activities. That's really good. I always enjoyed those. You know, you skip a whole day of class or something just to do cultural activities, and you learn. It's not just skipping a class. It's you learn your culture. You know, and those cultural activities and like just like sharing circles how we have or something, or a gym activity or a holiday or something like that. Just all those extracurricular activities running around the school and different things aside from just in the classroom, just learning the material, was the best parts of high school for me. And to have that didn't overwhelm me with the overload of like schoolwork and whatnot. So you had like the opportunity to kind of experience other things, you know, learn in different ways, and it's really good. That was one of the best parts. Some of the not so great parts of high school is the peer pressure you get. there's an enormous amount of peer pressure, like being with your peers and people who are older than you, and they are most likely the ones you look up to right when you get into high school, and you see them and you see the bad things they do and you think it's cool, and the older ones peer pressure you because they think it's cool. And so you get into like smoking and skipping classes and giving attitude back to the teachers and just having that I don't care attitude and thinking it was all right and thinking that it was professional and that's the way high school was and whatnot. And those weren't so great because there was a lot of bullying, there's a lot of conflicts, people get kicked out of school for that and don't come back. And I've seen my friends do that. I've seen my friends give attitude back to the teacher and then they get sent to the principal's office. And because of that, they bring more attitude towards the principal and they get kicked out of school for like a suspension or something. And because of that one time, they don't realize what they themselves have done, but blame the teachers instead. And they don't come back to the school. And it's unfortunate because I've seen that more than once. And that's not a very good thing when you want to keep your students to come to school and whatnot. Not necessarily saying it's the teacher's fault, but how the students view their rights or something, like what they could do in the school and how they could act. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the relationship between teachers and students.
Yeah. Because of the attitude of the students themselves, the relationships between the students and all the other staff or of the school at all, is their attitude towards the workers makes it very difficult for them to do their job. And so, you know, they get sent to the principal's office or something and whatnot, and they have even more attitude because of that, and the relationship just breaks. It just completely shatters, and the child doesn't want to go to the school. And once again, like if they do come back and the principal sees them doing something they shouldn't be doing in school, and they get kicked out again and again, and it's like a reoccurring thing. The connection between them is just broken. They hate the people at the school, and so they don't want to go back. They blame the individual teachers and principal or workers, when really it's they themselves that should be the one apologizing, that should be the one realizing what they've done. But once again, it's that whole I don't care attitude kind of a thing that teenagers adapt in high school, I guess. Yeah. I could set all these rules and recommend a whole bunch of things, but it always leads back to the student themselves, whether they want to participate, whether they want to excel, whether they want to even be in the school at all. And it really depends on the person, because I could set all these rules and more people will dislike it and not go to school because of it. So limiting their freedom would definitely decrease the population of the school and stuff. And giving them too much freedom would make them feel that they can do whatever, that they'll have that attitude, that I can do what I want in the school and nobody could stop me. It's funny how it works, because these people who do that in the schools back home have like no authority or no say in how things are run or go on back home or in their lives. But in the school, they kind of, you know, they change a bit, I guess. It's to do with the cliques and the types of people and personalities and groups. Yeah. It's not so much as like a southern school, but we do have it. It is there and it's noticeable. Yeah. After I left high school, I really did miss seeing my friends every day and going to class every day and just being surrounded by my peers. And there was kind of a like lonely feeling, I guess, after high school. I just worked and felt that I couldn't remember the material I learned I felt like I didn't have anything that I took with me from high school other than my, graduating diploma kind of a thing and my memories, but nothing to really deal with the material I've learned. Like there's certain things I've learned. I feel like I haven't used them in my life yet, or that they haven't become of use to me in a very significant way. And so, like, I've learned these things, but I can't pinpoint what class they're from or when I remembered it, or hey, I've heard of that before, but I forgot what it was called. I learned it in high school though. Nothing I could really take with me in real life. Yeah. And I felt that I guess I couldn't do much after high school. I felt like I was kind of in a stop once I finished it, that I didn't really know what to do with my life or what kind of job I'm gonna get or what I qualify for. And all those sorts of things ran through my mind as soon as high school finished. That what am I gonna do with my life? I'm on my own now kind of thing. I have no more school to mandatorily go to, so I didn't know much else to do or think or, learn. Oh, well, I've heard of Nunavut Inuktitut when I was in grade 10. And as students, every year they go to their hometown when it's during the Christmas break or something. And they do a presentation to the rest of the students and whatnot. And since grade 10, that's when we were allowed to go to the library and watch those presentations. I became very interested. The courses that they were talking about, the pride they felt for being Inuk, and just the empowerment and leadership that they gained just from that program made me want to go so much. And so every year I see them come and I go to their presentation every year, all new students every year, and I sit there and I ask questions and ask more questions, and they gave us really honest answers, and they seem to be real genuine people, like my cousin's best friend or something. And it made me feel like I can do that too. And so I applied after high school, or just before I graduated. Unfortunately, I did not meet the deadline, or my fax wasn't actually sent out, and so I didn't make it in the year that I wanted to, which was right after high school. I didn't make it, and that's what kind of happened with my confusion and not knowing what to do kind of a thing. It added on to that. But I worked for a year, and I applied again, because that's what people do. I applied again, and I got accepted, and it was the happiest day of my life. A light has shone on my future, and it was endless possibilities for me after hearing that, after knowing that I get to do this program, I get to learn more, something that I wanted to do, is learn more, and something I could really take with me, back home and to help my people. And so that's how I got into this program, just by applying, and they said yes. I'm kidding. I see myself, I've had this planned, I see myself in the future, say Algonquin College, doing the business administrative program there. It's the 3-year one, and I feel it'll be very beneficial for me to carry on post-secondary schooling while I can, while it's free in Nunavut, for Nunavut students, while it's free, most importantly, while I can, and while I have the capacity to keep learning, and before I start a real life and not a real life, but a family, a home, and before I go back home to help my people, I want to be fully prepared, fully educated, ready for whatever comes my way. I always I'm very confident in saying where I'm going to be in the future. And I often, I don't want to say joke, but say to my classmates, you'll see me as the president of one of these organizations one day, one of these Inuit organizations one day, or you'll see me helping my people and doing something I love and speaking out for Nunavut and for the people of Nunavut and to better it. And I don't know what exact kind of job I would have. There's so many out there, but I most definitely would like to make a difference, or at least a slight difference in my community. And if not, all of Nunavut, if it's possible. Just help or better the place in any way is where I see myself, or what I see myself doing in 10 years or so. NS is so wonderful. I'm gonna cry at the end of the year. I know that. I'm gonna grab onto the teacher's leg and not want to leave. But it's really good for me right now lately. It's been good right from the beginning. I gave it my all, and I'm still trying to do my best. And the support that the staff and instructors give us is incredible. I don't know how I would still be here if it wasn't for them. The courses we're learning, the things we're learning, I'm happy to learn. It wasn't so much like that in high school, where I was happy to learn about something that has to do with French and social studies and things like that. But I'm happy to learn about my own history here. I'm happy to be with my peers who are all from different communities, and that it shows me how everybody else deals with things in their own community also. So I get a wide view of Nunavut and how things are run, how we do performances, we go to conferences, we go to forums, we go to special events, and just having that is like a relief kind of a thing. Not having to worry about only schoolwork, only doing assignments, only doing what the teacher says, kind of a thing. To be open and to do other things and experience other things that you're gonna have to experience in later life, like conferences and forums and whatnot. Just to have that already in your back pocket, learning that here is great. I don't think any other place would give you that. And the support and the family-like feeling of the students, having all that together makes me proud to be who I am as an Inuk, and makes me proud to know the people I know, and makes me proud to say that I was in this program. It'll probably be one of the biggest highlights of my life, I think. Yeah. I feel strongly that the support that this program gives will help me in later years in other post-secondary schoolings. Because when you get here, it's a culture shock coming from the north in a small community, moving to a city, moving to the south, where there's a variety of things and a lot of resources. And just the culture shock when you first get here is very hard on people. And having to learn and become a student and have all these things that are all new in your back pocket or all new right in front of you in your path is very difficult for Inuit sometimes. It could get very overwhelming, and having no support here like you do have back home with your family, it's even harder. And so having come here to Nunavut Iqaluit, having done this program and having the support that we get from the instructors and the staff, I will most definitely be able to use that to further my education in the South. Like, they teach us how to live on our own for the first time. Most of us come from living in a home with our families to coming here and living on our own. That's a very big step that usually gets people to go a little crazy, you know, first time dealing with those kind of things. And this program, having the support that it has given me, taught me how to live and do it on my own, how to go out into the world and pursue my career or life or other education on my own. And so it's something I'll always be thankful for. Yeah. It's not ignored, that's for sure. At least it's there. More people would always like to say that there should be more of this and more of that and whatnot, but you also have to focus on the school and the learning that you have to do and whatnot. If they could find a way, or if they could even just do a cultural class itself on its own, would be fantastic in a way. Like, let's say you have a cultural class along with, you know, math and science and gym kind of a thing. I think a lot of people would choose to go to that class. And a lot of people would learn traditional ways and how to live on the land and whatnot. I think that would be very beneficial learning, you know, that it's something they could take with them and that they'll remember. Not only that, you gain a sense of like confidence for who you are, and you are no longer in a state of like confusion or being so sensitive towards what people say to you. You grow over that. You empower yourself a little with just knowing and feeling who you are and learning those cultural things, and to be proud of it. It gives kind of a light in the heart kind of a thing. Yeah. I've been told when I was growing up a lot of times that I don't know it. I feel that I do. I might not know the most of it, but I know a lot of it. Out of 3 children, I am the oldest. I am the only one who can speak to my mother in Inuktitut. And they correct me and they help me. And the more I try, the more they speak it to me back. So it's kind of a learning process back and forth. But compared to others who know their language fully, they do kind of tell you that you don't know this and you don't know that and whatnot. And right now I'm actually in the beginner's Inuktitut. I may not be a big beginner, but I can't go into the advanced class because I feel I can't read and write in Inuktitut. And knowing my language is knowing it fully. It's learning, it's speaking it, it's understanding it, it's reading it, and it's writing it, kind of a thing. That's what Inuktitut is to me. You have to know all areas of it. And unfortunately, I don't know my reading and writing. I've lost that growing up. And I could still speak it. I might not say the words all correct, but I try. I try, and I'm getting better, and I'm going to keep trying until I speak all Inuktitut during interviews for once. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, the only Inuk teacher I had in high school were my Inuktitut teachers. There was 2 of them. One of them was Mary, and the other one was, oh geez, it's been a while, I can't remember. Yeah, and those teachers that I had, I had a connection with them, you know? I could speak to them as if I'm speaking to my aunt or something, you know? It's more comfortable rather than my English teacher or something, you know? It was really casual, you know, hi, how are you, kind of a thing. It was like friends, and it was good to have that. Because if I didn't have that, then I don't think I would go to Inuktitut class every day. But I did. So having Inuk teachers, at least just them 2 anyways, was really good. Because they could also understand and relate to the social problems that other students may be going through. And, you know, they know your parents, they know your family, kind of a thing. It feels a lot more comfortable. Yeah. I feel strongly that there should be more Inuktitut teachers in the school. Even ones teaching other subjects, not Inuktitut, let's say shop class, let's say sewing, let's say social studies, anything. Just more Inuit teachers in the school system to make the students feel comfortable. Not only that, but, you know, to empower Inuit, to show that we can take those jobs, that we can teach our youth in the ways we want, kind of a thing. Yeah. I feel that the high school educational system is a little loose, kind of a thing. It needs to tighten up in a few areas, and talking about that, the more advanced classes, I feel, got the more attention and support for going into post-secondary schooling. And I feel you need that in all levels. You need the attention from the teachers. You need to know what you're going to learn about, kind of a thing, every day, instead of just coming to class and thinking, oh, what's going to happen today? It needs to be a whole lot more organized to the T. It's got to be looked at a little more, I think. Making sure the kids go to class. It's definitely got to be, I can't say tight, but more involving the students, kind of a thing, you know? Like, not just the teachers and the principals and everything that know what's going to happen throughout the whole year and whatnot. Dealing with the students, which are people like us who should know what's going on, kind of a thing, and be involved. I know they're just youth, but you'll be surprised of what you can get from them, the ideas that you can get. And just getting them involved, just getting them involved, puts like a spark in their mind of other ideas or other things they could be doing. And I think that would really help the high school students. Yeah.
You have to get them.
First of all, they should have like a monitor or something at just walking through the hallways, because people skip through the hallways and whatnot, and like a teacher and maybe not dealing with that grade won't know what you're just standing in the hallway for, kind of a thing. So maybe like a certain person, like I don't want to say a security, because that's like a high school that needs security must be really bad, but it should have like a monitor, kind of a thing, on people trying to walk out through the door when they have class that they're supposed to be in, people just wandering around the school because what they're learning isn't interesting, kind of a thing, and around the building, because a lot of students do hang out outside and hide away from the teachers who don't go outside to check if they're in class and whatnot. The principals sometimes do that, and just to have like a person to monitor all that. But depending on but talking about who should be depended on to keep track of the attendance, it's got to be up to the student, kind of a thing, you know, because teachers already like ask if you're there or not, but the student will be there for the beginning of the class, and then she'll get up and she'll leave 5 minutes after, but it already says she was there during that day, kind of a thing. It should be noticed a little, but it's a lot up to the student to want to stay in class. Yeah. We all need to be in class, and we all want to be in class because we're together, and we need to be in class because we need to learn the material in order to pass, in order to graduate, kind of a thing. And in high school that wasn't so important to me, I find. Just getting the grades and just doing the bare minimum was cool. No, I'm kidding. But just getting them to want to go to class, you got to get them involved. Like I said, try to involve them. Like, if you might notice a student who never raises their hand and whatnot, she may not understand the material. Maybe you can go up to her and ask her. Maybe you can incorporate her in class discussion, kind of a thing. Don't single anybody out is what we do. We don't single anybody out, and we're always open to listening to everybody. We may talk over each other because everybody has something to say, but I feel that people who feel welcomed, incorporated, involved, do want to stay involved. You know, they want to come to school so they can be involved in something that they've been doing for like a month, and you don't want to miss out on it, kind of a thing. You want to acknowledge that, you know, they're there every day or something, or that if they're not there every day, then you talk to them about it. You ask them why, you know. You get on a personal level and you just look out for the student, I guess, kind of a thing. People could miss school just because they don't feel like waking up, or people could miss school because they have like a family issue back home or something. But having a safe place and to be involved and in something, I find makes people come to class every day. Being involved and needing that certain person's input makes you feel liable to have to go and whatnot. You got to make the person feel important to what we're doing, to what's going on. And we do that a lot here, because sometimes we give each person a role into doing something in a kind of a project, and we help each other out, and we come, and you know, you depend on that person to come that day to discuss this certain subject or this certain area of another subject that we're all looking at together as a group. And just involving them is a key thing. A lot of people who don't go to school say it's because, oh no, it's because I never get noticed. The teacher never helps me. I don't know the material. Nobody talks to me in class. And it's like the sad reality that does happen to some people in Nunavut, for those kids who do get picked on and bullied, and just to the point where they don't ever want to go to the school again. To get rid of that kind of a feeling would make people want to come to school more. Yeah. That's like one of the key things, is to also have your classmates depend on you and not just the teacher for your work, because your peers are the ones whose comments you take to heart, kind of a thing. And the teacher, you could care less of what kind of things he says to you, unless it's positive. And you know, a sick day is a sick day. You can't help but be sick. But if you have something you have to do for that class that day, then I'm pretty sure you're going to show up if everybody else is relying on you. So having that and being involved is something that would make people go to school.